Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the session this morning.
Good evening from South Africa.
Hey, Martin, how are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. And yes, good evening.
I thought we're the center of the world.
I have a t-shirt like that, actually. Let me see who else is on the line. Morning, Danny. Welcome to the call. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, everybody.
Nice to meet you sort of in person.
Yes, likewise.
And
Hi,
hello,
Lars.
Osama. Welcome from Dubai this morning.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Good, thank you. And you?
Yeah, in Dubai. Yeah.
Good. Hello, Daniela. Nice to see you.
Hi, Dan. Good morning.
From Toronto. This is quite the international crowd today. That's great. Hello, Venetia. Welcome.
Thank you.
Where are you calling from, Venetia?
From South Africa.
What part?
Actually from Indonesia, so very south.
Indonesia, wow. Well, welcome. Hello, Deepak.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm also from South Africa, calling from the northern parts of Joburg, Johannesburg.
Northern Johannesburg.
Yeah.
What I remember is the town of the jacarandas.
No, that's Pretoria.
I remember growing up and seeing jacarandas, and after a rainstorm, the streets would just get purple with flowers.
Yeah, that does happen.
You were
A lot of
welcome.
jacarandas, yes. Thank you so much.
Hello, Nicolette. Welcome to the call.
Hi, good afternoon. Sorry, just took a bite of an apple.
Well, welcome, and hi, Cassie. Nice to see you.
Good afternoon. Hi.
We'll just give people another minute or two, and then we'll get going. Welcome, David. Where are you calling from today?
I'm in Tel Aviv.
So we have 5 countries represented so far. Welcome.
I might add, there's a bit of a storm going on here, so my internet's not that stable. I apologize in advance.
Well, not that we want to be competitive about weather or anything, but
Hi, Gary.
we are in a polar vortex.
Hi. Morning.
Yeah, I don't think we're competing on the weather. I think it's on the negative side, where a slight weather upset sends our internet down. We certainly don't want to be competing on that front either.
Welcome. Hi, Veronica. Welcome to you. And good morning, Kim. Lovely to see you on the call.
How are you?
I haven't spoken for a couple of years now. It's great to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, good to see you, Dan.
There are other people who are planning on joining, but why don't we get going? So over to you, Katie.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and kick us off just while we are waiting. So hi, everybody, and welcome to the Ubuntu Impact Studio workshop. It's great to see some returning faces as well as some new ones to these workshops. I'm Katie McNeil, and I'm going to be your host for today's session. I'd also like to introduce you to the man who is just speaking, Dan Gordon, the board chair of Colleaga. On the call today, we also have Lance Melherber, who is the Ubuntu Studio lead. We also have Hugh Evans, our engagement lead, and our fabulous innovation Sherpas, who you can reach out to if you have any technical troubles during the call today. So just a few quick ground rules before we get started. This is an interactive session, so please do leave your videos on throughout the session today. We do ask you to leave yourselves on mute when you're not talking, just to reduce any background noise. I also mentioned the chat function earlier. I'll just quickly draw your attention to it. It might be at the top or bottom of your screen. I think Michiko just introduced herself in the chat there. So she's also who you can reach out to along with the Innovation Sherpas if you have any trouble during the call today. So we're looking at about an hour and a half long meeting today. It really has one key objective: begin your collaborative ventures by forming teams around a shared vision. So in the first half of this, we're going to do a brief overview of what the studio is and what the process is, and how it can help you develop your ventures and accelerate them towards being funded. And then in the second half of the workshop, we're going to be doing breakout rooms to begin cultivating collaborative teams around specific projects that have been beginning to form in the studio. So with that being said, I'll now pass it off to Dan Gordon to explain briefly what Colleaga and the studio is all about. Over to you, Dan.
Thank you, Katie, and good morning and good afternoon or good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us all from all over the world. Many of you have been on our calls before, but for those of you who are new, at Colleaga, we are building a network of cooperative mission-based innovation programs and venture studios that bring public, academic, and industrial innovators together to collaborate on complex, difficult, wicked social problems. So our studio brings together activators, people like us on this call today, who believe that by acting together, we can create transformative change. Activators join the Colleaga Impact Studio to learn ways to come together in consortiums focused on solving large problems. And we bring together partners with capabilities, investors with financial resources, sponsors and funders, and we cultivate and we discover synergies that emerge from our interactions together. Over the past year, we've brought together people from around the world and particularly in Southern Africa. And we determined that there was interest in forming a South African chapter of the Colleaga Impact Venture Studio, led by Lance Moherber, our Southern African lead. Welcome, Lance. The objective of the studio is to cultivate a set of virtual projects to both improve resilience and outcomes and access to care, while also generating new economic opportunities for all peoples in South Africa. The discussions started off in December, where we met a set of core activators who started to establish this shared purpose, and started to identify key focus areas that you can see on the screen. Since then, these teams have started to form, and so today we are going to actively get together and create teams further. We really believe that we use platforms and tools to connect. So right now we're going to actively start learning and connecting using our Health and Social Innovation Community platform. Back to you, Katie.
So thanks, Dan. So a lot of you are already familiar with our Health and Social Innovation Community, but for those of you who aren't, I'll provide a brief explanation of what it is. So it's a space that brings together innovation consumers and solvers to create an ecosystem where we can learn from one another by sharing resources and knowledge. So it really is the central hub that we're using for the Venture Studio. And it's a space that we use to connect our collaborative efforts and connect in the venture partners together. It's also a space where we're going to provide you with all of the resources that will help you build your collaborative ventures and teams. So because it's an essential tool in the venture building process, we have provided everyone on this call with an account to the community. And we've also given you all a pass into our Impact Go to Venture courses. And they're designed to help you build your collaborative ventures. So let's take a quick moment now to log on to the community and redeem our passes. Michiko has shared a link to the access page in the chat. Please click on it and head over to that page and just wait there for a moment. I'll walk you through how to access the pass and log into your account. For those of you who do already have accounts and access to the courses, please log in as you normally would. And feel free to take a moment now to browse through the community just while I log everyone on. So what I would recommend that you do is splitting your screen so that on the left side of the screen, you can see our Zoom call. And on the right side of the screen, you can see the Innovation Community webpage. I would recommend doing this because I am going to be walking through this activity with you and signing on with you. So that way you can follow along with me and you won't get lost. So I'll take a quick moment now to open up my webpage. So most of you are probably on this page now. So you can go ahead and click that green access button. And that should prompt a screen that looks like this. So it'll say join us or sign in. Please click on the sign in button. No need to join us. We've already created accounts for everyone here. And to sign in, you'll need to use the email that you registered to this event with. And the password, we've provided everyone with a temporary password, and that is Colleaga 2020, capital C. Michiko has also shared the password in the chat. So if you want to copy paste it from there, you can do that. I'll just remind everyone the password is Colleaga capital C 2020. For those of you who have joined previous workshops, if you haven't updated your password, it would still be the same temporary password, so you can still use that one. I'll just remind you that if you are having any trouble logging in, please reach out to Michiko or one of the Innovation Sherpas in the chat. So go ahead and press next. So once you're logged on, you'll be redirected back to this access page. Some of you right now might be seeing a bit of a different page. You might not be seeing this access button. It might just be a full screen with this image, and then you might see purchased in the right-hand corner. That's totally fine. That means your pass has been redeemed. So just hang out on that screen for one moment. For the rest of you that do have this green button, go ahead and click on access and then confirm free access. And that gives you access into the courses. So like I said, those courses are designed to help you build and develop your collaborative teams and your collaborative ventures. We will be speaking more about the courses in just a few moments. If you do still have that web page opened up, you can go ahead and close it. It should say close up in the top right corner. And I'll just quickly introduce you to the health and social innovation community before we go into our courses. So this is a space that you can come to find relevant content, all of our active learning courses, and our built-in community of experts and innovators. So to get started, I'm going to ask you to look to the left side of your screen. If you don't see an open menu bar there, just click on the 3 lines at the top left corner to open that up. And then go down to the circles tab. So this is where you can come to find the Ubuntu community circle. So if you're not already joined in there, go ahead and click on the join us button. And then you can go ahead and click on it to open it up. So this really is the space that we're using as the central hub for the studio. So it's where you can come to find all of the relevant information about the studio and continue the collaborative process by sharing your project ideas, commenting on others' project ideas, and really connecting with our community of venture participants. So as projects continue to get developed, this space will become busier and busier, this main activity feed. So the way to filter through posts is by going over to the topics tab. And then you can browse by specific topic area. So for example, if I open up this activators field, I can see all of the posts, all the introductory posts that workshop participants have been making over our last couple of workshops. So what I would love to do is give our newcomers a chance right now to make an introductory post. And you can do that by just going up to the bar at the top of your screen here and just quickly writing in to let us know where you're from and what it is you do. So it's just a quick way to get yourself acquainted in the community and to let us know who you are. So take one or two quick minutes now to write that in and share it. If you've had any trouble logging in, please do feel free to write in the Zoom chat who you are and where you're from, and then our Sherpas can copy and paste it over to this space here. For those of you that are returning and have now done the introductory exercise maybe a few times, what you can do is actually just scroll through, and if there's someone that you wanted to say hello to from one of the last workshops, please feel free to comment on their post and say a quick hello. We will have a chance to meet each other more and see each other again in our breakout rooms later on. So while everybody's writing, I'll just quickly browse through here and say hello to some of the people I know are returning. I know we have Veronica from PillCheck on the call today. Hi, Veronica. I think we might have Jay Lynch as well, who is a registered nurse who has a lot of experience in telemedicine. So Jay, if you're here, hello. We have Ben Matthews on the call today. We also have Deborah. Hi, Deborah, I hope you're doing well. We have David Kahn, who was speaking earlier from DBK Future Strategies. And then we also have Casey Chambers from SADC, who will be leading some of our breakout room sessions later on. It looks like we have Nicolette joining us, an industrial psychologist. Hello, Nicolette, welcome. So feel free to post when you're ready. I do recommend posting in either throughout the session today or afterwards. If you want to make a post in here, please do. We love to see who joins the calls, and it is a great way for people to see who's on the call and connect with you afterwards. So with that being said, I'll pass it over to Dan to introduce you to the courses. Over to you, Dan.
Thank you, Katie, and welcome everybody. Thank you for being here today. Again, in particular, I see that along an old-time friend, Dr. Des Kaplan, a psychiatrist, has joined us today. Welcome, Desmond. Great to see you on the call. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through the network to the courses and to the how to take an impact venture to market course. This is where we are training all of our members and ourselves how to build an impact venture. It's a structured experiential learning program that guides participants through the creation of the venture while we actually build the venture. And you can see it's divided into several steps. We believe that learning and doing is the most effective ways of getting things done. So as we create the assets we need in order to get funded ventures, we are also I beg your pardon. As we are creating our assets in our course, we are also learning how to create those assets. And so what the learning is about is not just how to make the things, but how to create effective collaborative venture partnerships, how to commercialize and best practice in getting to funded collaborative venture deals. We do believe that our venture deals need to be ambitious, both in impact and in financial terms. Because these are difficult problems, they're expensive, and they take time. So our projects need to be ambitious enough to be attractive to us all. Think 10, 10, a million. It's going to take 10 years. We're going to start off with about $10 million or rands, whatever the currency is that you're using, and we're aiming at impacting 1 million people. So think at scale. But also at the same time, we believe in lean startup thinking. Aim big, but start small and grow. A multi-year, multi-million-dollar project that impacts 1 million people starts off with a minimum viable project that takes 6 months, has got a tolerable cost to all the parties, and brings early value. It brings a proof point, and mostly it brings learning to us about what we have done and what we're going to do next. So going into the overview, this is basically these phases that we go through in the course. In our first 2 months, we went through orientation, and we found all of us, the set of activators who are on this call, and we established our collective studio focus that we spoke about. We then started to go through phase 2, where we did discovery among us and said, we started kicking around a whole bunch of ideas. Should we go this direction? Should we go that direction? And those ideas are starting to coalesce into 4 collaborative ventures. And that's what we are going to review today as we start phase 3, which is to co-create plans to build our large-scale projects, but beginning with a smaller first phase. That planning is quite an intricate, it is quite a labor-intensive exercise. It delves down into the details. But as all of us know, what we need to do then next is step back. And in stage 5, we step back from the details of what we're going to do to be able to tell the story, to narrate a story that will attract the right kind of support from investors, from our partners, and also importantly from all of our internal constituents in our organizations who are going to want to know, why are we doing this? And for those ventures that are then funded in stage 6, stage 5 leads to negotiation with funding organizations. So if you are a private sector organization, think of this as you're in a project bid. And stage 5 is when you are getting down to the nitty-gritty of developing a statement of work. If you are in a not-for-profit, this is a granting proposal. Stage 5 is when you actually are signing the grant. If you are in a government organization, you are negotiating a transfer agreement. That leads us to stage 6, where we need to actively do the work and do what we said we were going to do. It's about implementation, demonstrating value, and then figuring out how we scale to the next right step. So the end point for us is stage 5 of this process, where we have a collaborative venture. It's well-defined. We're telling the right story to the potential customers and investors, and we are hopefully in successful negotiations to begin the project. On that note, it gives me great pleasure to announce that our Ubuntu Impact Venture Studio has received a contingent 10 million Rand commitment from an impact investor to get our projects going. So we're delighted that not only is the impact financing activity showing sign of success, but more importantly, the kind of social impact ventures coming out of the studio are valued by the impact investment community, who are looking for well-constructed, well-thought-through, high-impact, capital-conserving, investable deals. So those kind of deals are not easy to win. They take a team working together to construct a credible plan and a well-defined sequence of work products and activities. So let's take a look at some of those activities. And I'm going to go into stage 3, where we are co-creating our plan. And I'm going to go to the end of stage 3, which is the collaborative venture master agreement. So the collaborative venture master agreement is specifically designed to allow participants in a collaborative venture to work together. It's between the parties who decide to be involved in the venture and who are signing the master agreement. It may include partners who are non-signing partners as well. We've made a facility for that. And the contract includes the master agreement and the statement of work, where the parties describe the specific work that they're going to do. It's got 12 articles in the master agreement. It covers off what is a collaboration, what is an impact, who are the partners, how are we going to manage our relationships. It then moves into how do we make decisions, how do we administer, who are the lead partners for various purposes. It then moves into funding and how we use funds. It then describes intellectual property ownership of background, which all belongs to the parties who bring it to the table, and how we divide up the foreground work products among the venture partners and who's going to own what. It deals with confidentiality, and in these projects, it's always very important to deal with confidentiality, because we will be dealing with personal data and patient-specific data. And that deals with general terms of terms and termination and disputes and liability and all of the other general terms and conditions. So that is the standard contract. It's available for you to download if you want to start running it through your legal processes. And it includes at the end the statement of work schedule, which has got a template for describing each one of these sections. Why we start with this endpoint is that this is what a successful venture looks like. It has a number of signatories on a contract that is, if not identical to this, very similar to this, maybe refined for the particular venture partners who are involved, and signed by the investor who is giving the money. So that's so we need to get to having a contract like this. In order to get to the contract like this, what we said is we need to step backwards. And stepping backwards is defining the collaborative vision and also narrating our story. That is very similar to any other company process. It's about a 10 to 15 slide deck. It covers off all of those various areas of what will become the contract, who's involved in the venture, who's on the team, what are we going to do, what's our grand vision, what are we going to do first, how are we going to use the funds, and so on. It's just 10 to 15 slides and a 2-minute video, and that's the time that you will get with a set of impact investors and partners, followed then by those who are interested coming to you and saying, well, I need to know more about the details of the plan. So that is where we co-create the plan with you. And the plan really follows the same kind of a structure. It's going to have 6 main sections. The first section will be, who are we, what are we trying to do, what's our shared purpose, who is on our team, why they're on our team. What we're looking for is team partners who are both the strategic multipliers, who are complementary because they bring real additional pieces that we need to the table, and who are culturally aligned and have the same values as we do. The next section is, what are we going to do? What's the problem we're trying to solve? What is the solution? What is the market that we're dealing for? How do we construct what we're doing for that market? And importantly, the market is, who are we selling to? Who is our customer of our venture going to be? The next stage of the plan goes through, what are we doing first? Implementation. What are the deliverables? We have a structured way of defining managed innovation service products, so that it's easy for us to contract with each other. And that then leads to the business case. How much money do we need to do this? What are we all bringing in? What are in-kind contributions? What are our cash contributions? What's the net that we need to go out and ask an additional investor to bring to the table in order to do the first part of it? And lastly, then a definition of risks. So that's just moving forward again through our process. The next month is spent on putting together the pieces of this plan. As many of us who have been involved in large-scale projects, whether from the public or private or academic sectors know, get together with your partners, you work out these details. It's a bunch of backwards and forwards in getting to the agreements that we need. It becomes then a slide deck that we put out to pitch, leading to a negotiation and a contract. So that's what we're setting up today, is to form our collaborative ventures. So that's the last stage of stage 2. And I'm going to go now into our hub. So all of the teams are invited to the hub of the Colleaga Impact Venture Studio, and we have been in the learning resource. I'm going to now go into the doing resource. This is where we've started to set up our 4 teams. Now I'd like to hand over to Lance to describe the 4 projects that are starting to form around us. Lance, over to you.
Thanks, Dan, and good afternoon, folks, or good morning, wherever you are in this wonderful world of ours. Just as a backdrop for those that are joining us the first time, Dan and I were involved some time ago in 2019 in a similar initiative using the collaborative platform in a very complex initiative for the private sector's medical health insurance industry, where we participated in the health insurance industry's master patient record index projects, the health information exchange. I see some of the customers that have joined that initiative, currently called Care Connect, are also on the call today. So, when Dan approached me in September last year to roll out the other initiatives in remote patient care in South Africa, I wanted to again participate in the virtual space, as it were, in bringing that value that we created in South Africa already to different market segments in this country. So we've been quite busy since September, had a number of follow-on sessions in December and January and February this year, and we're glad to announce that at this point in time we've identified 4 distinct projects. Veronica is focused specifically on optimizing personalized treatment strategies for health conditions. Veronica, welcome back. We've got Casey Chambers from SADC that will be rolling out an initiative around virtual health services for the vulnerable population, and in particular the youth and young women. And then we've got Tony Manaval, who will be rolling out a project specifically around workers in large corporates, and how those corporate participants and workers in large corporates could benefit from these services. What we soon realized in our conversation is that all of these initiatives, really, whether we are talking about remote patient care for the corporate sector, whether it is in the case of SADC, patients that are either in townships or remote parts of South Africa, either driven through digital infrastructure, telephones, or in some cases supported by frontline staff, all of us would need digital health infrastructure. So together with Dan's team, we are also focused under my area of responsibility to build a digital infrastructure platform that will service all the projects. So that is the initiatives currently underway, and we'll be driving business cases for each one of these. Dan, I hope that's sufficient for now, and back to Katie then.
Yeah, so great, thank you, Lance. Now we're going to be dividing up into breakout rooms to begin the formation of these teams. So each of the breakout rooms are going to be facilitated by one of the team leads, so either Lance, Casey, Tony, or Veronica. And in each breakout room, the leads are going to go into a little bit more detail about their collaborative vision. So they'll explain the social and financial value of the project, who they need on board for the project to fill out the gaps that they may have. So during each of the breakout room sessions, consider whether or not the project could be of value to you and your company. Our leads are going to be opening up the conversation to get some of your feedback on their projects and to ask whether or not you're interested in joining their team. So we're going to be doing 2 separate breakout rooms. Each will be about 15 minutes. And in the first, we have pre-assigned all of the breakout rooms. In the second, we'll open it up a bit. So you'll be able to choose whether or not you want to stay in the room we've assigned you, or if you want to join another one. Sorry, I'll just quickly explain how you can switch around your breakout room. So what you do to join a separate breakout room after you've been placed in one is you go down to your menu bar, you open up the breakout room tab. That should open up a menu. Depending on your browser, it looks a little bit different for each operating system. So it might be that you have a join button next to each of the rooms. It might be that you just see some numbers. If that's the case, put your cursor over the numbers. That should populate a join button. You can go ahead and press that. So it might be a bit different depending on your browser, but we will put these instructions in the chat when we get to the second breakout room. So if you're unsure about how to switch, look at those instructions, or of course, reach out to one of the Sherpas and they'll help you get to where you're trying to go. But with that being said, we'll start with the first breakout room. So I'll ask our innovation Sherpas to open up the rooms now, and then we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Hello, everybody. Excuse me. Welcome back. I hope that this was a really useful conversation for everybody. We only have 6 minutes to go, so unfortunately we don't have time for an in-depth feedback from all of the facilitators, but let me thank those facilitators, Lance, Billy, Tony, Ben, for facilitating the groups, and thank you to you all for what I thought was really great discussion. Even though I was just dipping in and out of the rooms, some of the things that I dipped into was Martin Weiss from Gembi, fabulous mHealth platform that you already have built, with a key question around is there a commercialization model to take it further? And we heard from Daniela about the work that Next Year Health is doing, and that it fitted in with so many different areas and perhaps could provide an important piece of infrastructure to reach out to communities of interest. And of course, from Cassie and Salik's perspective, technology enabling the SADC organization is a key objective, so that SADC can scale to reach many more people. There was a really interesting discussion that happened in the room on personalized treatments, where Veronica and Danny Mersfeld connected on their common interests in personalized treatments, and sort of figured out what the real business opportunity was. And then when Dr. Kim Smith joined from Mediclinic and just mentioned, well, this seems to be something that is much more relevant to us with our UAE health system, that began another conversation about, oh, okay, well, maybe the opportunity is another global opportunity. And that's what these sessions are about. That's what we mean by emergent synergies. This question of when you get like-minded people in the room and divide us up and have the right conversations, suddenly opportunities to connect together and work together with on complementary projects where we all bring strengths to the table and we all have a commitment to want to do transformation in whatever form, becomes the driver for getting projects done. You've seen the circle. Really at this point, we need to get into the planning that I described earlier on in the call. The commitment, if you're involved in planning, is you are in a project proposal process. Our leads will do a great deal of the work and the facilitation of the meetings. But if you are part of the signing group on a team, then expect that it's going to be somewhere between a half and a day a week for the next 4 weeks or so, to get a significant proposal done, costed, so that we can then start working out how we present these further. We will also provide Innovation Shopper resources as much as we can to make these processes run smoothly and reduce the burden of the work. But really, it's your expertise that is going to drive us along. So to indicate that you are interested in working on these, go back to the circle. You can reach out through the Collaborative Ventures tab. That you're interested by just going to each one of the slides. You can go to direct messaging to any one of the leads. You can reach out to Innovation Sherpas. You can reach out to us by email. Do what works. We will then connect you up. We will then go into our next series of meetings for each one of the ventures in order to really coalesce these and start filling in what will become eventually the statement of work. So we have another 2 minutes to go. I just want to say to everybody, as much as this, there has been a tremendous amount of planning, and I'd like to particularly thank the Collegians who you've seen on the call, all the Innovation Sherpas, particularly Lance, you and your team, for all of the considerable work that it took to get to today. And as much as it is about all of their planning, it's also about serendipity, and about people like us getting together and saying, you know what, it just takes a few like-minded people who say that we can make a difference to actually make a huge difference. That actually is what happened with Care Connect that Lance mentioned. Today we impacted and are impacting 10 million people. We have the same kind of objective for this. We're going to get together, we're going to figure out how we can all do good and do well as a result of that. So let me just open it up to any last comments from people on the call, or just last connections, and whether they are perhaps professional, but much more importantly, personal. We don't have enough time these days to connect with each other just on a purely personal basis. So over to everybody else to say goodbye and thank you.
Dan, from my end, thank you very much. I think we just ran out of time. I think I need to visit Martin, and we just need to have a long conversation, Martin.
Yeah, thanks very much, everybody. I agree. We needed more time. This was great.
Well, or then we probably need to get better at speed dating.
Yeah. So, and thanks so much for the great input. Again, we should have gone on for hours, but just so many great ideas and so much expertise coming up in the same room and sharing. Just thank you to everyone for giving up the time and helping. Please know it's going to have a huge impact. So thank you to everyone.
Thanks, Cassie.
Good, and with that, let's start wrapping up. So thank you, everybody. Expect to hear from us. Good evening to those people who are in great weather. Enjoy the weather. To those people who love the cold, good morning and enjoy.
Yeah, thank you for organizing and hosting us. It's exciting to have so much global expertise. We're all thinking in the same arena, and I'm sure there are ways to build up on each other's knowledge and passion.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Keep safe. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.